The unseen architecture of silence there is a force in the universe that does not roar, does not flinch, does not reveal itself in the clamor of words, yet bends reality to its will with the quiet precision of a master sculptor shaping marble. It is the force of silence, not as emptiness, but as a weapon, a shield, and a throne upon which the truly powerful sit unseen. Machiavelli, the infamous strategist of shadows, understood this better than most. He knew that the loudest voice in the room is rarely the most dangerous, that the man who speaks least often holds the most leverage, and that silence, when wielded with intent, can invert power dynamics in a single, breathless moment. Consider the ocean. On its surface, waves crash and froth in endless competition, each vying for dominance over the other. But beneath, in the unfathomable depths, there is stillness, an immovable presence that does not need to announce itself. The surface waves expend themselves in noise and fury, while the abyss remains untouched, unmoved, governing all without uttering a sound. This is the essence of Machiavelli's deadliest strategy, the art of allowing others to exhaust themselves. In words, in emotions, in frantic justifications, while youth a silent observer hold the true reins of control. History whispers this truth in the corridors of power. The great chess players of politics and war did not win by reacting, by defending, by scrambling to explain themselves. They won by letting their opponents unravel first, by allowing the insecure to fill the void with their own doubts, their own fears, their own miscalculations. Julius Caesar, when faced with the conspiracies of Rome, did not plead his innocency. Let his enemies reveal their hands too soon. Sun Tzu, in the art of war, did not advocate for endless confrontation. He spoke of winning without fighting, of allowing the enemy to defeat themselves. And Machiavelli, in his cold, unflinching wisdom, distilled it into a principle: never defend, never explain, let them come to you on broken knees. Yet this is not merely a tactic of rulers and generals. It is a law of human nature, as immutable as gravity. In every conversation, every negotiation, every moment of conflict, there exists an invisible battlefield where silence is the sharpest blade. The man who rushes to defend himself hands his opponent the sword with which he will be struck down. The woman who lets accusations hang in the air unanswered forces the accuser to face the hollowness of their own words. Power does not reside in the one who speaks first, but in the one who listens last. But silence is not mere absence. It is presence distilled to its purest form. It is the pause before the strike, the stillness before the storm, the unreadable gaze that makes kings and conquerors hesitate. To master it is to master the most elusive form of influence, the kind that does not need to declare itself, because it is already understood. There is a peculiar quality to silence, one that eludes the clumsy grasp of hurried thought and restless speech. It is the shadow between words, the pause that turns a sentence into a blade, the void that bends the listener's attention like gravity around a star. In the unbroken hush, there lies an architecture of power more ancient than thrones, more enduring than empires' strategy whose roots twist through the soil of human nature itself. Machiavelli, that oft misunderstood sculptor of political cunning, knew this truth intimately. For him, silence was not the absence of action, but the most calculated form of it. It was the slow tightening of the net while the fish still believed. It swam free. To understand silence in this sense is to understand that it is not passive. It does not simply happen to you, like darkness in a room after the lamp burns out. No, this is the silence you choose, sharpen, and wield. It is a weapon. forged not in the heat of battle, but in the cool forges of restraint, where impulse is smothered beneath deliberate intention. It is the still surface of a lake that hides the slow, deep currents beneath. The noisy may feel powerful, but the quiet one, the one who speaks sparingly and observes intently, holds the contours of the game in their hands. Machiavelli lived in an era when power was as volatile as lightning striking in unpredictable patterns, destroying those who mistook its warmth for safety. In such a climate, loose words could unravel alliances, ignite vendettas, or reveal ambitions before they had grown strong enough to defend themselves. The man who survived was not always the boldest swordsman or the most eloquent orator, but often the one who mastered the art of saying less, of letting others exhaust themselves in declarations while he simply listened, storing every syllable, like gold in a vault. In the Renaissance courts where loyalty was paper-thin and betrayal could be sold for the price of a banquet, this was not mere politeness, it was survival. Yet to speak of silence merely as a survival tactic is to see only its outer shell. Its true potency stretches far beyond intrigue and politics. Silence alters the geometry of perception itself. In conversation, it is a void others rush to fill. In negotiation, it is a mirror reflecting the anxieties of those across the table. In personal conflict, it is a space where tempers burn themselves out, like flames deprived of oxygen. And in the inner life, silence is the chamber in which our own thoughts must confront themselves without the crutch of noise. If noise is the glittering distraction of the marketplace, silence is the cathedral vast, echoing, built to draw the mind upward and inward. We live in an age that fears such cathedrals. Our world runs on the hum of constant broadcast, voices, alerts, endless streams of words spilling into our pockets, our ears, our restless minds. In this climate, silence can feel unnatural, even threatening, because it resists the demand for immediate response. Yet therein lies its paradoxical strength. The rarer a commodity, the more powerful it becomes. When everyone is speaking, the one who waits becomes the one who controls the tempo. Machiavelli's insight was not merely that one should keep secrets, but that restraint itself reshapes the battlefield. Silence forces others to guess at your intentions. They project their hopes, fears, and suspicions into the empty space you leave. Some will overestimate you, others will underestimate you, but all will adjust themselves in relation to a presence they cannot fully map. This is a silent kind of gravity, unseen pull that bends the orbits of those around you without a single command. It is important to see that this strategy is not the same as timidity. Silence is not cowardice. In its weaponized form, it is the act of holding the arrow taut in the bow, of not releasing until the wind favors your aim. It is patience that looks inactive, but is, in truth, engaged in the most precise calculation. The impatient man is a puppet to his own need for release. The silent man is his own puppeteer, waiting for the exact moment when one word will carry the weight of 100. Think of a master chess player, not one who rushes to strike, but one who makes each move with the awareness that it will echo across the board many turns ahead. To the untrained eye, he may seem slow, cautious, perhaps even uncertain. But in truth, he is drawing his opponent into a trap they cannot yet see. Silence works the same way. It is the space between moves that makes the strategy coherent. Without it, you are simply reacting, and reaction is the enemy of control. There is also a more cosmic dimension to all this, one that transcends the Renaissance courts or the tactical schematics of politics. In the universe itself, silence is woven into the fabric of power. Stars form in the quiet depths of space, their nuclear fury hidden from sight until their light travels across millions of years to reach us. Tectonic plates shift in silence. For centuries before the world feels the tremor, seeds germinate in the darkness beneath the soil long before their first leaves pierce the air. Nature does not broadcast its greatest transformations. It conceals them until the time is ripe. Machiavelli, perhaps unknowingly, mirrored this cosmic principle. The most enduring power moves quietly until it is ready to reshape the visible. Order thus, silence is power, is not simply a clever phrase. It is a principle that operates at every scale, from the private human mind to the turning of galaxies. It is the understanding that control is not merely about what you can make others do, but about how you shape the conditions in which they act. And in this shaping, silence is the most subtle and least resistible tool, because it works invisibly. People will fight an order, argue with a statement, resist an overt gesture. But how does one fight the absence of words? How does one oppose what is not there? This is the quiet genius of Machiavelli's strategy. It is not about withdrawing from the world, but about engaging it with the precision of a surgeon, the patience of a gardener, and the inevitability of the tide. In a world that mistakes noise for influence and speed for strength, silence remains the unclaimed territory of the wise. Those who step into it find they can see farther, hear more clearly, and move with an authority that does not need to shout.